Hi there and welcome back. So now we've got all our big branches. I've started to group them together into groups because we're going to start moving them around. So they're all attached, but I can still let's turn on edge faces. Let me demonstrate. I can still, so if I go to group, open, I can still go in and edit them individually, which is really handy because if we set them up, which we're going to do in a minute, we want to modify, move some, scale some, just tweak any of the branches, we can still do that. So if we just go to group and then close it, in this state it will act like just a mesh on its own. So see, I can just select any one of these and it will just move everything with it, which is pretty cool. So I've got one more to do, which I thought I'd leave until this lecture. So this last one here still needs setting up. So all you have to do really is select all of them like that, go to group, select group and call that big branch 5 like that, and that's it. That's all you have to do, and that's the group sorted. All groups, 5 groups of branches, and that's perfect. That's what we need. So let's unhide everything here, unhide all. So we've got everything now. Let's just save that into our oak tree and branches here. Let's save, file, save as. Right, just nice. I want you to save this twice more. One, so call it oak tree and branches all and save. So you got a backup of this file. And then I want you to select the tree and delete it, the leaves and delete those and leave the rest. Turn off edges like this, and we should have all our little branches and all our big branches ready to render. Okay, so now we're going to set these up so we can actually render them. So let's go to perspective mode, which we are. If we look down from the top here, I want you to create a plane. So go to create plane. Doesn't matter about the size, but as long as it's square, it's got to be square. 1400, that's fine. Length, width 1, and that's all you need. That's it from the top, or from the perspective top, I should say. Let's change that color because it's not very pleasant. And all this is going to do is give us a grid, a sort of a guide, a square guide for where we're going to place all our branches. And we're going to do 2. So let's turn snap off and just move that one over there too. Okay, so on the first one we're going to create a camera, but we want to create a target camera, not a physical camera. Make sure you create a target camera and do it in perspective view. And what it will do, I've set my keyboard shortcut up to be Control and S, and what that will do is create the camera at the viewport I had already set. I had set from my perspective view. So if I now press P again and come out, my camera will already be there, which is exactly what you need. Just scale that down. I'm going to move it into 0, so I'm just going to position this at 0. 0, 0, 0. And I'm going to position this at X and Y at 0. 0, 0, like that. The next thing we're going to do is go to modify, and in this box here, orthographic projection, tick that box there like that. That's exactly what we need. I'm going to change our viewport now, so it's configure viewports. I'm going to select this one, also split, and I'm going to make this my camera 1. I'm going to make this perspective. Click apply and OK. So you can see our camera view is on this side, and we can still work on this side. So I want to lower this so it takes up most of the view there, which is cool, like that. Perfect. We want to go into our, in fact, actually go to rendering environment here. Right, first thing to do, make your ambient black. Make sure your tint level is at 1. We'll choose color background in a moment, but down here where it says exposure control, make sure it says no exposure control. I had mine at some crazy setting earlier and I was getting all sorts of bleaching, so just make sure you've got that at no exposure control. That'll do for now. Right, over here we're going to now, let's turn off edges so we can see what we're doing. We're going to lay these out on 2 sheets. So first thing we're going to do is let's get the big one over. Like this, and we're going to lie it down on the ground, so rotate it 90 degrees like that. So we're going to lie it flat. So remember, we're going to render it in this viewport here, so just line that up and get another one. We're going to put 3 in here, and then we're going to put 2 and all the little ones in the one next to it. So we'll leave the 2 smallest ones for the other, or actually no, let's get the 2, let's get this one here. Let's move this one over and let's rotate it 90 degrees like this. Just move it into position. You can do this in the camera viewport as well. I think what I'm going to do is scale it. Oops, I moved the camera then. But if I scale 2 of them, I've got to scale them all at the same time, because we've got to keep them all relative size to each other, otherwise we'll get big leaves, small leaves, and all sorts of weird sizes. Let's just bring all these over here and sort of rotate. Can I rotate these together 90 degrees like that? Just move them away for a minute. And let's rotate these 90 degrees for the little ones also, like that. Let's just have a look. Oh, we could probably, well, that one's just tilted too far anyway, and so is that one. It's not enough, so just check that. Not that one. Just check that they're all in line. Let's move this one a bit closer and up a bit. I can see it like that. Okay, that looks good. Right, now we've got to scale them. So let's just get the 3rd one on here. Let's put a small one on here, because we're going to put 2 others on here and then all the little ones. So we've got plenty of space over there. Okay, let's just rotate this around so that it can fit 90 degrees like that. You can see the size of them, they're quite small. Okay, let's turn on edge faces. Okay, let's do that again. Let's select them all. And now we're gonna, that's okay, they moved, it doesn't matter. Right, so now we're gonna scale them up so we know they're gonna fit nicely, and we're gonna use all of the space that we've got available on our sheet. That, oh, I keep moving the camera. Sorry. And that looks quite good. Yeah, I might rotate it back the other way. Yes, so okay, that's cool. That's good, looks good. So we're going to now rotate this one back around 180. Position it. That branch is just sticking up a bit far there, but that looks like it's going to fit okay actually. Oh, so you got to be careful not to move your camera every time. We do have to position it in a minute, so it doesn't matter too much. I can actually rotate that a little bit, to be honest. Yes, that's good. That's much better. Okay, and I can even move it back a bit. Move that up a little bit. And there we go. I think that will do for our first one. Okay, for the second one, let's just copy this camera. So we shift it over. So it sits over our second plane. Like that. And we're going to call it camera 002. Click OK. So now, when we click up here, cameras, we can click 02 and there's nothing there. So we need to now move our other branches into position. Okay, so just position these best you can on the square here, like that and like that, and then bring in all the small ones as well to, we'll put them down the side here. Could be a space at the top, but that's okay. Yeah, bring them down, each one. We can use these, then, you know, we can put them on the ground. We can sort of use them in the trees where we want to fill a hole or some extra detail. Just make smaller, sort of young trees potentially. You know, lots of options. So we can, you know, definitely use these somewhere. It's certainly worth rendering them out. So there we go. That's all of them on our page. Okay, so I need to move them down because they're all a bit too high at the moment. Okay, so let's just move these down. We don't want them going through, although it doesn't matter because we're going to switch off the planes when we render, so it doesn't matter that they go through. And you can see they're not moving in the camera view because it's orthographic. So it's just a fixed perspective. It's the, you know, it gets rid of all the perspective basically. Orthographic. So let's move these down. Oops, don't want to move the camera. Let's move these down. Right, there we go. So save this as, so file, save as, and I want you to save another file. I want you to call it blah 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 tree and branches for rendering. Save. You won't get that message because I've already saved it once, so just click yes there. So that's our two layouts. So that's when camera 2, click on the camera point up here, go to camera, and we go to camera 1. That's our other layout. So let's just render that and see what happens. If we go to render setup, make sure your width and height down here is 2048 and 2048. That's all you need to set in there, and turn that off. Click on render frame window, and then click on render basically up in the top right corner, and that is our image. So what we're going to do is turn off the plane over here and render it again just to see what we've got here. Render. So we've got a this is our 2048 image. You can see here. We'll change the background color in a moment. Let me just, there you go, there you can see it. Got a lot of space around the edge, so we could just drop the camera down a little bit. We'll do that in this viewport here. We'll do the same, we'll do both at the same time. So remember, we've got to keep the same aspect ratio, the same ratio and size wise for both. So click back on here, and here just we can do a little bit more. We just need to make sure that our branches don't clip out the edge anywhere. Looks like there's plenty of space still, so we can do that again. Take it down a bit more like that. Render, wrong viewport. Make sure you select your camera viewport. Click render. Yeah, that's a nice, that looks good. We can even move this one up a little bit and to the right a little bit. And do it a little bit more perhaps. Okay, so let's try that again. Click on render, wrong viewport. Click on render. Well, that's very close to the edge now. Yeah, well, that's a little bit, so we can move that up slightly perhaps. So just get these, just move them up a tad. Let's try that again. Perfect. That's perfect. They look good. Okay, if you do this, I'll tell you what to do. We're going to go into our rendering, go into environment. Let's just take this down because it's too bright. Let's just try that again. Render, that's better. Okay, if you're getting white edges around your leaves, that's just something you're going to have to do. Go into your material editor, select your leaves, and make your ambient diffuse and specular all black. Don't know why that happens, but it just gives it a white rim around the edge. While you're there, do the same for the bark. Just make it all black, and that'll get rid of your little white edges if you're getting them. So one more thing we've got to do is create a light. We'll put a light in here. That way we can control how bright this is. So if we go to plus, go on, click onto lights, make sure you're on standard here, not photometric. Click on standard. I want a skylight. Click on that, and then just click anywhere in the viewport. And we're not, it doesn't matter where it is, we're not going to, you know, it doesn't matter, you can put it anywhere. Don't put it in your scene, obviously, just keep it to the side. If we go to modify, make sure it's on, make that 1 like that. Sky color, make sure it's white. Make sure shadows is off. You don't want to cast any shadows, so turn that off. So let's just have a look at that now. Render. That's brightened it right up. So we should probably take it back down again. Actually, let's take that down to 0.8. It's too bright for me. Let's just check that our environment, our ambient is dark. Yep. Render. That's not too bad. Let's just take down our background color some more. And yeah, I'm going to desaturate that background. It's kind of, just bring it right down. Just increase the value slightly. Okay, that's better. That's much better. Okay then, and they look quite good. Let's just bring that back up to 9. Render again. Render. Okay, so there's our first one. What we're going to do is save that, so click on save here, make sure it's on TGA, Targa. Go and find, I think it's vegetation textures. Yep, so I've already rendered out two already. Tree branch, yep, oak 01. So save that. Click yes. Okay. Go to camera 02. Turn off our plane like that. Let's do a quick render. Make sure it's good. Looks like it could do moving up a little bit. Let's just move this one up a slight bit there. Let's try that again. There we go. That looks good. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 5. Got two bigger branches. Right, we're going to save that. And we're going to save that as 02, tree branch oak 02. Click OK and click yes. Make sure it's 32-bit because you want the alpha. Click OK. There we have it. Make sure you save this. Make sure it's branches for rendering. You know, if we ever want to come back and alter these, we can just click on that, group, open. And we can select our little leaves individually if we want to. And we can scale them up, move them around, add more, and we can just leave them like this. So when we get them on a tree and we go, oh, it's not looking good, we can just come back and render some new ones. So let's just go to group and close that. And we're going to save it. Just make sure it's saved on branches for rendering. Because we're not going to touch this file now, we're going to leave it in case we need to come back. Okay, so we're going to check out the two renders. Let's go and see what they look like. Okay, so here they are in Photoshop. Pretty good. Deliberately got no lighting on, and that's fine because we're going to add normal map to this. And we're going to probably add a gloss map to it as well, and I might even see if I can render an ambient occlusion. We'll see what we can get and what we can't get, but that's looking pretty good. We've even got, if you look down here, we've got a beautifully rendered alpha channel, and that's fantastic. So we could start using that now pretty much, except we just won't have any normals or anything else, just our albedo. So if we go into this one, just check this. Yeah, so we've got a nice alpha there. It's looking pretty sharp, really lovely rendered. This is exactly what we're after. Right, so that's it. So in the next lecture, we're going to cut these up just like we did with our grass, and we're going to make some big branches so we can then put them on our tree. So I'll see you in the next lecture.